Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings to be upon you all. Crime is usually viewed negatively as it undermines human values and harms societies. Those who commit crimes, known as criminals, are generally rejected by society. Preventing crime is crucial for both governments and individuals, requiring their collective efforts. While law enforcement can sometimes control crime, prevention is far more effective. Today, we will explore how Islamic guidance offers a crime prevention framework, a topic that directly impacts our daily lives. I encourage you to share this discussion with friends and family. So, we're talking directly about crime prevention in Islam. We are joined by Brother Farid Ahmed from Christchurch, who will contribute to this important discussion. May Allah bless him and all of us.
Amen.
Brother Farid, to begin with, what is crime and why is crime prevention essential?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and mercy be upon all of you, and thank you for joining us. So, at the outset, I wish all the best, good health, good life for all of you, and offer my salam. So, the question is that what is crime and why prevention is very important. So, crime, as Sister said, crime is a very important issue. And in every country, there is a special arrangement to prevent the crime or to tackle the crime, because crime is not good. And I would like to acknowledge at the beginning to all the human brothers and sisters who have been working in crime prevention and also in managing and tackling the crimes. And here we are only going to discuss about the tiny little part of how Islamic faith contributes towards preventing the crime. So this is for understanding, and I hope that with this discussion we can understand that how Islamic faith contribute in big times in crime prevention. Just the faith itself. Just the faith itself. Islam is a complete code of life. It also had court system. It also has, justice system. It has everything. But today we will only focus the faith part, Islamic faith, the how the faith itself can help the individuals to stay away from crime, and also how can it assist to prevent the crime by individuals, by society, by government, and so on, because faith is very, very important. So to answer the question, first of all, the crime, what is crime? What is the definition of it? So the simple definition of crime is any action that is aimed deliberately to harm other people or himself. So basically, crime is a deliberate, harmful action or a action that is intended to cause harm. And that harm can go against me, against individuals, and it can go against others. So, for example, just to give a story, when Prophet Adam, peace be upon him, and his wife, when they made mistake and they went to the prohibited street, it was not a crime because they did not intend to disobey Allah. So crime is it was a mistake. So difference between mistake and the crime is mistake, it happens innocently. There is no deliberate intention. But the crime is that it is a deliberate intention to cause harm, and it can go against oneself. So the example is that the crime can be like murder. It is to cause harm to other people. Rape, abuse, torture, oppression, stealing, robbing, false accusation, etc. etc. So these are actions that cause harm to other people, and also it goes against oneself. Because when someone is a murderer, he only does not cause harm to others, but he causes harm against his own soul. Because at one stage, when he is remorseful, the remorse is a big pain, it's a big torture. And a person should not do anything to cause his self to go through pain, because it goes the rights of himself. And this crime can be against humanity, can be against an individual, can be to cause pain mentally, emotionally, physically, or even spiritually. And it can be against animals. It can be against environment. So anything that causes destruction, pain, harm, and blocks the prosperity, blocks the happiness, etc., that is called crime. And in any society, people dislike crime because human nature is that they do not like harmful things to come. Human nature is that they want to be peaceful. Human nature is they want harmony. They do not want anxiety or worry. So that's why there is a natural tendency in each and every human against the crime. Once people realize that someone is a criminal, they never go to welcome a criminal with flowers because they develop a disgusting feeling towards a crime action. Now, next question is that why crime prevention is very necessary. There is a saying that prevention is better than cure. So when something happens, a crime takes place, then to manage it, to tackle it, is not easy. And sometimes when bad thing happens, you cannot turn the clock around. If someone is killed, that person is gone. You can ask for justice, but it takes time. It It reminds the victim more and more about the pain, causes more suffering. And sometimes victims does not get the justice because of imperfect system and because of the lack of knowledge in everyone. For example, as a judge, you do not know the intention of a criminal. So you just have to depend on the superficial witnesses. And sometimes maybe witness is not enough. Or sometimes maybe the lawyer cannot explain it enough. Sometimes the apparent evidence is not enough. And as a result, the criminals gets away and the victim suffers more. So when it happens, it happens. And that is why if we can prevent it, if we can take some actions before it happens, then that is better. And that's why the saying is prevention is better than cure. So we are talking about prevention. That prevention should be, or preventative measure always should be taken before some bad thing happens, before the criminal activities happens. Now, the question is why? Why prevention is so necessary? Well, there are four main reasons. There are four main reasons that crime prevention is very, very necessary. And these are very basic. We all can understand. So I'll just mention for our own reminders. One is safety. For safety, we need preventative measures. Safety is is a need each and every human. We need to feel safe. If we don't feel safe, we become anxious. We become worried. We become fearful. Just for example, in our neighborhood, if there is a case of stealing and then police came around and then police sirens, the whole neighborhood at night, they will be awake. What is happening? There will be some fear. People who are vulnerable, children, may be fearful. What is happening? Is it going to affect us? So one crime, one stealing in an area makes everyone feel unsafe. That if it happens to me, if it happens to my house, so people gossip about it in the next morning or in that night. Hey, we had a big stealing in our road. So what's going to happen to us? Oh, this area is becoming a criminal area, or the criminal activities is increasing. It is no longer safe to live in this area. This safety issue is big issue for our inner mind. So prevention is necessary at first to provide the safety for the people. The second reason is peace. We need peace, and when there is crime, gangs, they're fighting and they're shooting at one another. The peace of mind goes away. And in the society, if there is crime, if there is extremism, if there is intolerance, and if there is violence or violating of the rules, law and order, then the peace of mind goes away. That's why, for establishing peace of mind and peace in the society, in the family, just imagine in a family, if there is violence going on, domestic violence, in that house there is no peace. Children, adult, for all, there is no peace. And peace is very, very important. Crime replaced the peace with fear, and with anxiety. So if we can prevent the crime, then the peace will be established. So peace is the second reason. The third one is happiness. If mom and dad unfortunately are fighting, and one is taking the knife to stab another, and children are watching helplessly, can you imagine? Will they feel happy? In the next second, if parents offer them nice food, cookies, but still, what they have seen and what they will anticipate, the peace of mind will go away. The happiness will go away. The happiness comes from harmony in the family. If there is harmony in the neighborhood, everyone is happy. In a society, in a country, if there is harmony and no crime, then the society is happy. So, for happiness, we need to prevent crimes. The fourth one is prosperity. If there is a crime, every crime, you know, put us into a setback. We go backward. Without crime, things progress slowly. Whether it is fast or the progress is slow, there is a progress. There is a prosperity. But when there is a crime, everyone pay. Everyone pays for it. So, for example, in 2019, we had a mosque shooting in Christchurch. 51 people were killed. The whole country suffered. It costed us money, costed economically, mentally, emotionally. And if we did not have this crime action, then we could have used our time, our emotion, our intellectuality, our economy, everything just to progress. But every time there is a crime, then everything stops and we go backward to cope with it. And prosperity hampers. So that's why crime prevention is necessary for prosperity. So I'll repeat again before I finish this answer. Why prevention, crime prevention is very necessary? I said four basic reasons. The first one for safety, second one is peace, third one is happiness, and the fourth one is prosperity. So I think I'll stop here, and I think I have answered the question that what is crime and why crime prevention is necessary.
Thank you, Brother Fred. That was very insightful. Written a few notes myself, so thank
Mhm.
you. Second question we have is what is Islam's perspective on crime and what are some root causes of crime?
Okay, Bismillah, in the name of Allah. So, simply the question is that how Islam looks at crime. And according to Islamic philosophy, what are the root causes of crimes? Why people go into the crime? What happens psychologically that push them to commit crimes? So, the first of all, how Islam looks at the crime. Islam calls crime as haram. So some of you may not be familiar about haram. In Islam, so you can remember these two terms. One is haram, prohibited, and another one is opposite, halal, mean allowed. So Allah Almighty gave us the code of life called Islam. And the main message of Islam is the Quran. And we believe Quran is Allah's words. So in Allah's guidance, Allah has made two categories in our actions. Two categories. One category is halal, allowed. So Allah made so many things allowed for us. It means we should do. And it is rewarding for us to do. If we do it, we will receive the immediate reward in this life, and also Allah will give more reward in the next life. So these actions are called halal action, mean allowed or permitted actions by Almighty Allah. And the opposite one is haram actions. Haram mean prohibited. Allah has forbidden. Allah said, don't do it. Simple, don't do it. And if you do it, you will suffer in this life and you will suffer in the next life. For crime, Allah will punish twice. One in this life, even though if not caught by the police, but there will be a natural way. The criminal has to face this hardship, harm, etc., etc. Some way there will be a natural justice. We call it natural justice. But in Islam, nature is controlled by Allah because nature is a creation of Allah. So we believe that natural justice means it is also Allah's plan that people will feel or face the consequences of their good and of their bad. So bad is crime and they will face the natural justice and they will face Allah's good on the day of judgment in the next life. I'll give you a story. So Prophet Adam, he was the first man and his wife was honorable Eve, Hawa. So they have two sons. This story is mentioned in the Holy Quran in chapter 5 and verse 27, 28, 29. You can check it out. So the story of a crime, the story of a crime. The older brother, he committed a crime and he got jealous with his younger brother who was pious, righteous. So the older brother, his name was Qabil, he got angry to his younger brother wrongly and he said, Qala la'aqtulannak. Chapter 5, verse 27. He said, definitely I'll kill you. So killing is a crime because killing is an action that causes harm and takes away the rights, basic rights of other person. So Allah has made haram for everyone to encroach the rights of another person. Because Allah has made the basic right that everyone has the right to be living. not to be killed. So he killed him, committed a crime. And then Allah made the rule that if you kill one innocent person, then it is as if that you have killed the entire mankind. So Allah has made killing, unlawful killing, haram, prohibited. So this is how Islam looks at any crime is haram. Allah has never ever permitted anyone to abuse the human rights, to abuse the rights against any creation of Allah. For example, even a flower plant, the flower plant has a right. Some people they are walking and they find a flower plant beside the road and they kick them. Or unnecessarily they, you know, pull the branches. Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "This is haram. This is prohibited. This is a crime against the plant because this plant is giving the joy and comfort to the humans, to the environment, and unnecessarily, deliberately to damage a plant is also haram, prohibited. Unnecessarily, unnecessarily cutting the trees, destroying the environment is haram. If someone for greed destroys the environment and then the environment suffer, then whole mankind or whole people will suffer. So anything that is harmful, the outlook of Islam is it is prohibited. That's why in Islam we find a clear-cut guidelines. All these things are haram, prohibited. And all the good things are halal, mean permitted or allowed. So this is the answer of the first question, that what is the outlook of Islamic outlook about the crime? It is haram. Second one is, what is the main root cause? Why people commit crime? How Islam explains what is the main reason? So the main reason is ignorance. This is the main reason, ignorance. So first of all, when people are ignorant about their own identity, so for example, if I take the knowledge, divine knowledge about my identity, then divine knowledge says, I am a honorable creation of Allah. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah said in chapter 17 in the Holy Quran that I have made children of Adam honorable. It means their status is very high. And to maintain their status, to maintain their honorable identity, they only do the honorable actions. And crime is humiliating action. A criminal can be very rich, but people never give honor, respect to the criminal from their heart. Even though we say, separate the crime and the criminal, separate the sin and the sinner, which is good. But the human tendency I'm talking about, the human tendency is if someone finds out that this guy is a rapist, will you force their heart to honor him? No. Maybe they will be generous and they will not take law in their hands, but their heart will say, no, I cannot respect you. Why? Because you have done something not honorable. So, Islam teaches that, hey, human being, understand yourself and understand about your true identity from your creator. But another human comes and said, hey, no, 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 Farid, you are not actually a honorable creation. You are a lowest one, a monkey. You are an animal. So you are allowed to, pray anyone, hunt anyone, kill anyone, because you are a monkey. What's the matter if you do whatever you want to do for your survival? You see the difference? You see the difference? People who are criminal, one of the most important reason is they do not know their honorable status. That's why they do not feel the necessity to act righteously to maintain their honorable status. When they do not know who they are, they get confused and they think, like animals, survival is the fittest. I can kill, I can rob, I can occupy other people's land, I can be an oppressor, I can be a tyrant, I can be a criminal, I can do whatever I can do just to go on top. This is from ignorance. And when someone follows Islamic divine guidance, then psychologically this teaching changes that person's mind. If he is or she is a true believer, true Muslim, and knows about Muslim, has divine knowledge with the belief, then will think twice, what am I doing? Am I doing the honorable thing? If I am doing that, I have to do the righteous actions. And I have to avoid the criminal actions. So ignorance is, one of the biggest thing. And another reason is that the lack of understanding about the accountability. So a criminal, he only thinks today and tomorrow. So the example would be, okay, I can do this big crime, and if I can do this way, police cannot find me. Court cannot persecute me. I can get away. So what's the harm of doing it? Let me do it. This is another ignorance. But the divine knowledge from Allah gives the opposite information. And it says that there will be a day of judgment. After the death, when Allah will raise everyone, and each individual will face Allah's court, and no one can avoid or escape the accountability in there. If someone is aware about it and not ignorant and believes in it, then this awareness also psychologically shapes up that person. But when people are ignorant about the accountability, they can do it. They can do the crime. Another example is that Or another reason is that people do not think before they do something. And then when they do it, they suffer. So, like the story I said about Adam's two children, the older son, Qabil, he killed his brother. And after killing, he suffered from remorse. He did not think about the far-reaching future after doing a crime. If he was aware about that, if he was thinking, if he had knowledge, then he would not have done it. So ignorance is a big thing for which people do crime. Another root cause is people's bad desires. In Quran, Allah says, أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَى. The hawa, people's evil desires. So for testing, Allah has placed two opposite desires in our hearts. One desire is righteous desires. Another one is evil desires. So for example, greed for power, greed for money. So from that greed, a neighbor will push the boundary into the another neighbor by 2 meters. The greed will motivate him that I can grab a little bit more land. Or a country can be greedy and will find an excuse to occupy another country, another crime from greed. Or some big weapon company who are making the arms to kill people, they will try to create fight between two countries so they can sell their arms and they can make money. Again, greed. So greed is an evil desire. Greed, selfishness, anger, all sorts of evil desires. If people cannot control these evil desires, then these evil desires can motivate them to do crime, to commit criminal, to become criminals. So this is the second reason. The third reason is suffering. Sometimes people suffer and impulsively without proper thought they can react badly and they can commit crime. So for example, revenge. So maybe one guy has killed my wife and I felt angry, I felt rage. So to take the revenge, to take retaliation, I killed 3 from his family. So the extra 2 I have killed is a crime. That's how people do. Poverty, as we know, the poverty is a man-made problem. Yes, it is man-made because Allah has given plenty. But whoever is controlling, we are not fair in sharing. I want too much. You want too much. So when you and I get too much, the third person, he doesn't get anything. So he is suffering from poverty. So from poverty, he is struggling and suffering. And then if he does not have proper control, then his mind can say, okay, now become a thief, commit a crime. Become a robber, commit a crime. Take bribe, commit a crime. That's how sometimes people, when they go to suffering, then that suffering also can make them criminals, can push them into crime. How Islam looks at that. That's why Islam is a guidance that when you are suffering, Islam says practice sabr, patience. Because if you are suffering, it is also a test. And to win or to pass the test, practice sabr. And when you have more, don't be greedy, don't be arrogant. Again, control your greed and don't be a criminal. So that's how, you know, the answer to the question is number one, Islam looks at crime as haram, prohibited. And number two, I gave some examples from Islamic philosophy that what are the reasons for which people go into crime, and also gave couple of tips that how Islam teaches to control us and to look at the bigger picture, to look at the prosperity or happiness for us in this life and also in the next life. Islam gives us guidance to control, to understand, not to be ignorant, and to be wise and to have far reaching thinking. So we can avoid crime and we cannot be criminals. So I think I have answered the question and I will stop here.
Thank you. Um, so, my third question for tonight is, how does Islamic faith help in preventing crime? And could you provide us some practical examples?
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the kind, the merciful. So, how Islamic faith help us, to prevent crime? So, Islamic faith starts from the individual, and then it becomes a community, and then it becomes big. So, let us start with the individual. So, for example, I am a human, and I take Islamic faith. So let me start with me. I take Islamic faith. So in Islamic faith, I find the motivation to purify my mind and my heart. To purify. What is purification here? Purification means that I take in some belief that removes the criminal intentions. As I mentioned before, that criminal intention is haram in Islam. And I believe in that because I have taken this faith knowingly, with understanding. Note here, sometimes if I take the faith and I do not understand, I do blunder. That's why in Islam, the first verse that was revealed from Allah to Muhammad, peace be upon him, was Iqra, read, gain the understanding, gain the knowledge. Do not be a blind follower. Be a faithful with knowledge, with understanding. Then you can use this to revolutionize your mind towards the righteousness. And you can block your mind from criminal activities. So, mind purification. So, I was saying that I get motivation from my faith to purify my mind and my heart from the root causes that I mentioned before. One is ignorance, another is evil desires, and another one is suffering. So, in these three situations, my faith helps me to purify my mind so that I can have an attitude, a way of thinking that I will never follow haram. I'll not follow haram because if I do, I will be failed in the test. So, Islam teaches me as a faithful that believe in the fact that Allah has created you in this life to test you whether you follow the crime, haram things, or to test you whether you follow the righteous actions, which is no crime. And it teaches that if you avoid the crimes, haram actions, you will be successful. In your life test, you will be successful. So, this simple thing is in my mind now. Why? Because of my faith. Now, the second one, my faith tells me that if you practice crime, then Allah will judge you and Allah will punish you on the day of judgment. And I truly believe in it. I believe so strongly that if I do anything even secretly, police cannot catch me. The court cannot punish me. And I can get free in this life. But my Lord, my Allah, He can see everything that I'm doing. Even He can see the intention behind my action, which is secret in my heart. And Allah will be the judge with all this knowledge. And this Allah is in the Quran is keep telling me, avoid crime, avoid crime, avoid crime, because when you will come to me, I will bring your criminal intention and criminal action out. And I have appointed two angels on your shoulders to write down whether you are doing criminal activities or you are doing the righteous activities. When I take this faith seriously in me, then I develop a taqwa, a fear of Allah's punishment. And I don't want to do any criminal actions because I don't want to be punished. So, this is another example. My faith is giving me a pure mind, a pure heart to stay far, far away from the crime and from the criminal activities. Another one, my faith motivates me and tells me that if you can practice patience, sabr, when your evil desire is saying, take revenge, but you are practicing patience, sabr, for the sake of Allah. And when you are suffering for it, maybe someone is making you victim, but practice sabr and do not cross the limit. Do not cross the limit. Do not go into any crime. Put your trust in Allah, and Allah will reward you. Allah will help you. When I have this strong faith again, then I am always motivated that my practice in sabr is not going to be a waste. It is going to magnify in rewards when I go back to Allah and Allah will put me in happy place in paradise forever. So, three things I mentioned looking at the time. My faith is giving me a clear cut idea that this life is a test. In this test, if I do crime, I am a failure. And if I can practice patience, I am successful. So I take this faith seriously. The second one, my faith is saying that, Farid, if you are doing anything criminal, Allah is going to judge you, Allah is going to punish you. So be careful. So this faith motivates me. No, 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 no. I don't want to commit any crime. I don't want to be in trouble. And this is a wise decision. And third one, my faith is saying that, Farid, if you can practice patience and you stay away from the crime, then Allah is going to give you huge reward. Do you want it? My heart and mind say, of course I want it. And Allah, I'll do whatever possible to stay away from crime because I want everlasting peace in paradise. So I gave you this three simple, Islamic faith as formula that how, if I take it, can save me from criminal activities, and if anyone takes it with knowledge and understanding and have strong faith on it, then he or she can avoid the criminal activities. So that's why I would like to finish with one small note. The note is that you can see that Islamic faith is important. And that's where I want, other people who have misunderstanding about Islam. Please study about Islam. And you can see that how Islamic faith is contributing the prevention of crime in any society. So I hope that I have answered the question. And we have still few minutes to go, and then maybe we can go through another question, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Um, According to Islamic teachings, what are the responsibilities of individuals, communities, and nations in preventing crime?
Okay, so briefly, individual responsibility. Islam has teaches that every individual has a responsibility of doing ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar. So every individuals will make effort to encourage one another to do the righteous actions and also to prevent the criminal actions. It is every individual's responsibility according to one's ability. So, for example, Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, he has clarified it that if you see a criminal action and if you have power, for example, you are a judge, you are a politician, you are a ruler, you are a police officer, or you are a guardian, you have ability that you can stop it by force to save, other people. Then you do it. You use your capacity. But if you cannot do that and you don't have the power in that level, then at least use your words, your talk to advise one another against the crime. And if you feel that you are even, not able to do that because the situation environment is so scary, if you tell the truth, then at least from your heart, do not support the crime. Never support the crime. So that's how Islam has given each and every individual according to their ability and capacity to do things to make effort to prevent the crimes. Secondly, family duty. Family, Allah has, Allah has uh, advised or commanded the families, the guardians. Allah says that Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ku anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O believers, you save yourself and your family from the punishment in the hellfire. And how can you do this? You encourage them to practice the righteous things, and you encourage them to avoid criminal activities. So every family, make every family a school to prevent crime. Make every family a school for a loving house, a fair house, and a peaceful house. And that's how you generate a society that will be naturally anti-crime and anti-criminal activities. As a community, Allah has given responsibility. For example, Allah said, "Watawasa bil haq." As a community, your responsibility is to encourage one another about the righteous thing, towards the right thing, and automatically you will encourage one another from the criminal activities. Community wise, also Allah said that if two groups are fighting, then do reconciliation so that the exceeding of limit will stop. So إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم. So if they are fighting, try to reconcile, bring reconciliation. So the fight will not continue, the fire will not continue, the harm will not continue, the loss of life will not be continued, and the loss of honor and suffering will not continue. Things like this. So also the government also Islam has given responsibility to the government on the government that they should make sure there is a justice in the society. The society is cohesive, so there will not be misunderstanding and class struggles. And there should be correction system, and there should be crime prevention program, etc., etc., etc. It could be by education, by creating a fair state environment, and removing poverty, oppression, all the reasons I have explained before, that are the root causes of crimes. A government with their capacity, they should remove those things. And Islam has given some special system, for example zakah, charity, so to remove the poverty. And it has given the importance in fair rights system, human rights system, and if those systems are practiced, then the crime rate will go down. And also, finally, I can give one more point that Islam has encouraged to be united against crime, to be united to establish the fair system, harmony, love, peace in the society. So, looking at the time is up, and I believe I have answered the questions, and that will give some food for your thoughts. If I could not deliver well, that is my limitation, not the limitation of Islam and Islamic guidance. So may Allah forgive me for my shortcomings, and you also forgive me for my shortcomings. And I wish all the best. And let us think more about this topic. And also, please share with your friends and people you know of, because this topic and the discussion is a positive note for all of us. So may Allah save you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessing of Allah be upon you.
Jazakallah. Thank you very much, Brother Farid, for going over all of that. I just wanted to highlight that the overall topic is really about prevention measures. And you stated 4 things: safety, peace, happiness, and prosperity. So if we're able to live by all of that, then we can save ourselves from all crime in our lives and in our communities and